This one's wife. Will William and Kate split? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I have extensively spoken about the narcissism of this one's wife. I was the first to highlight that she is a narcissist and explained all those years ago why that is. Since then, she has not only demonstrated time and time again that she is a narcissist, but she has provided repeated examples that I've been able to dissect like nobody else can to help you understand why she behaves as she does. As a consequence of this, it has also now allowed me to provide you with comparisons in relation to other members of the royal family, which contains other narcissists and individuals who are not. Two of the individuals who are not are Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. William is a normal, and Catherine is an empath. The question might be posed as to, might they ever actually leave one another and split up? As you know from my other works, that where a narcissist is in the mix, the likelihood of the relationship failing increases substantially. This is primarily as a consequence of the narcissist disengaging from that intimate partner primary source, but it can also be the case that as a result of the abuse that has been suffered by the victim, they escape. Many people fail to understand that many of the instances that enter the system with regard to divorce cases involve narcissists. And if you'd like a greater exploration of that, I would invite you to watch my video, Why is Divorce So Hard? Nevertheless, it isn't always a relationship that includes a narcissist that will founder. Non-narcissist relationships can also fail, often as a consequence of the involvement of another narcissist. For instance, it might be a case that one of the parties has an affair because they fall prey to the overtures of a narcissist outside of the relationship, and thus they cast them asunder. It is also the case that even where a narcissist might not be involved, one of the parties could do something which causes a problem for the other, which results in the relationship ending. For example, you may have a non-narcissist couple and the husband has been away on business. He's feeling lonely. He's been away for some time. The marriage has become a little bit staid and he ends up drinking and he meets a lady in a bar and he has a one-night stand with her. Overwhelmed with guilt when on return home, he feels that he has no option other than to confess to his wife as to what has happened. Naturally, there are tears and recriminations, but she recognises that this has never happened before, that he is, ostensibly, apart from this transgression, an excellent husband and father. They decide they will try and make the relationship work, but unfortunately, the trust has gone. And no matter how hard she tries, she explains that she is no longer able to remain in a relationship with him. Notwithstanding that, they are able to deal with matters amicably, because neither of the parties need control, but that is a scenario whereby a non-narcissist relationship could fall apart. Now, you on this channel come here to understand about narcissism, and many of you naturally do so in relation to my observations about this one's wife. And we all know that she was making eyes at William some time ago, that she, lacking boundary recognition, operating with a sense of entitlement, and having no emotional empathy, would think nothing of flirting with William. This is because it would enable her to try and assert control over him. It would also allow her to devalue Catherine, who is seen as the enemy, who is seen as the opposition. And therefore it wouldn't be a surprise for anybody to learn that this one's wife attempted to come between William and Catherine. After all, in her own deluded mind, she believed that she ought to be the queen, that William, in effect, is the one that has got away. And regularly, you watch my videos and those of other people which basically criticise the behaviours of this one's wife. Mine, based upon her narcissism. For many others, they simply don't like her and criticise the way that she behaves. But I thought it would be interesting for you to understand how others who are supporters of this one's wife see other members of the royal family. You naturally will be used to content creators talking about the poor behaviour of this one's wife, ridiculing her, criticising her, pouring snark in her direction. And it also follows, though not necessarily, but many of you are supporters of other members of the royal family, particularly William and Catherine. But it may come as a surprise for some of you to learn the extent to which William and Catherine have their critics. We know, of course, that Catherine was remorselessly and relentlessly trolled last year in relation to her ill health. But also, this provides me with a useful opportunity to demonstrate how individuals fail to go to the evidence, fail to have regard to a situation by reference to factual information, and continue to propagate rumours which just have no substantiation. There is a Reddit thread called Royalty Tea, and a post on there queried this: will William and Kate ever actually leave each other? Well, one might decide that is a fair question, even though there is no evidence to suggest that they would. After all, they both have emotional empathy for one another, strong emotional empathy, William by virtue of being a normal, and Catherine by virtue of being an empath. There are no suggestions that their marriage is in trouble. There's no suggestions of abuse, despite, of course, the ridiculous allegations that came from members of the Sussex Squad that suggested that somehow William was beating Catherine, and at one point she'd been killed and was underneath the flagstones somewhere. But this particular poster observed as follows: it's so obvious that their marriage has disintegrated. Really? Are we talking about the same couple that we regularly see together laughing and joking, that present us with videos showing a coherent family unit, whereby there's no evidence of marital strife, whereby they're just about to move to a new home? It's this marriage that you're talking about. I mean, the opening sentence, it's so obvious that their marriage is disintegrated, simply isn't founded in any form of reality. The poster continues: William seems to have nothing but disdain and disinterest in Kate. Really? Where do you get that from? He's probably continuing to cheat. Idle speculation with Rose or whomever else. Notice the Rose Hanbury allegations, despite it being repeatedly demonstrated that they were entirely false, perpetuate. Kate seems absolutely miserable. Does she? So when she's smiling, that's her being miserable, is it? And as we know, has been quietly quitting her duties. No, she's continued to discharge her duties. This poster continues: I really can't see them enduring the misery they cause each other indefinitely, but both of them are also very image conscious, and maybe they won't be willing to rock the boat or give up any power. What do you guys think their future holds? And there are a couple of hundred responses to all of this. One writes, I think Kate is in it for the long haul. Be queen or be damned. Another writes, Christ, sleeping around for the aristos is basically all they have to do, like it's part of the job. I suspect the new house is one William will spend little to no time in. I would suspect the kids are old enough to realise that the people staying over with Daddy aren't just friends. Somebody else writes, I just feel bad for her because at this point she doesn't really have a choice. In theory, she could divorce, but the blowback from that would be insane. The press would absolutely atomise her. Maybe she can figure out an affair partner or two. I kind of hope so for her sake. It has to be lonely. Somebody responds, I kind of see it the other way around. I think if they divorce, the press would atomise William. Kate has managed to gain this weird semi-deity status with the media, which has only increased since the cancer diagnosis. William isn't a likeable man. Meanwhile, Kate is pitching herself as Diana at Mark II. I think the real reason they won't get a divorce is because Kate wants to be queen, and she'll destroy William's reputation if he tries to divorce her. Yes, literally, the only thing likeable about William was that he married somebody ordinary, writes somebody else, and not from the aristocracy. It made him seem down to earth, less snobbish and more relatable. If he loses that, especially if there's rumours or proof he cheated, it would be a fiasco. It would be proof that he and the monarchy backstabbing a disloyal and opportunist. Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that there is no evidence whatsoever that there's any form of marital disharmony between William and Catherine. There's no evidence of William cheating. There's no evidence of abuse. There's no evidence of Catherine being unhappy or William being unhappy. And yet, here we have individuals posting, and as I mentioned, with a couple of hundred responses on a thread whereby it has 20,000 members. And yet, they continue to propagate this. Part of it seems almost like projection to suggest that Catherine thinks she's Diana Mark II, when we all know that that's the role that this one's wife has allocated to herself. That the suggestion that it's William that is cheating, when in actual fact it would be more likely that this one's wife would engage in such behaviour by virtue of her narcissistic credentials. And I thought it would be interesting for you, because you might not necessarily see places such as this, to understand that there remains a group of individuals that propagate various places on social media that continue to pump out these ridiculous views in relation to William and Catherine based upon no evidence whatsoever. Some of you may well have come across these individuals, and you may well have attempted to convince them that their views are incorrect, and you undoubtedly will have come up against their stupidity, whereby they're not willing to debate on the evidence, they've got a fixed view, they've nailed their colours to the mast, and they won't alter from it. But I thought it would be useful to highlight this, both in terms of demonstrating how, as a normal and an empath, while such a relationship can founder, it's less likely compared to that of the dynamic where a narcissist is involved, and again highlight the importance of going to evidence, wherein here, these are baseless observations founded on no evidence whatsoever. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.